party people! Hello, it's Randy for Thunderhorse Descendant. I'm here with project number 4 from the bargain bead box for June. I'm super excited. Today, a couple of announcements. Number 1, we are in a working studio here at Thunderhorse Descendant with our jewelry store and our bead store. So if you're looking for those things, they can be found in the description of this video. Just click more information and all the links are going to pop up. But if you hear some noises going on, that is because we are doing work. Also, we are stocking the store with a bunch of brand new items that we have recently got photos of and are getting up. We're going to be posting some stuff over the next few days preparing for the holiday weekend. So we're going to be stocking the store up. We are also going to be starting sales on Friday. Yes, Friday. On both the bead store and the jewelry store. So if you're looking for some sales, you might want to check that out. Without further ado, let's get on down to the mat, get this party started. Here we are on the mat, party people. As you can see, I have all the things that I'm going to be needing for this. So this is bracelet number 4. We are going to be using the Sardonyx. A few of those purple crystals. And we're also going to be using the focal pendant. So I am using my own clasp here. I prefer to use a heavy duty, bigger clasp for the bracelets as I have been doing. So I am adding a clasp of my own from my stash. So without further ado, I should tell you about the wires we're going to use. So I'm going to be using 20 gauge artistic wire in gold to wrap up this pendant. So we are going to start by getting that ready to go. And then I'm also going to be using soft flex medium beading wire, and I will be using wire guardians and crimp beads as well to get this started. And I'm going to be using my tweezer, and then I had this little bit, I still have leftovers. I still have this teal leftover business from the last couple of projects that we've done. So I'm just using up this little smidge of this color of teal, which I think is going to go pretty contrasty, so that's good. Alright guys, let's get this party started. Alright guys, so I have cut myself a piece of about 5.5, 6 inch wire. I was like, oh, that's a little bit close. Let's zoom on out a smidge. And that is going to be to help us wire up this pendant right here. So I'm going to just make a little wire wrap on this pendant, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. We're going to get that ready. Then we'll get our beading wire ready to go. And then we should be able to just start stringing. So first things first, I'm going to get the chain nose out. I'm going to run this piece of wire about in the middle, and I'm going to fold it up just like this. Okay, so here's how I do it. Now, not everybody does it this way, but this is what I'm going to do. So I just take my finger, just going to run this down the X here, so it's going to create a cross. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab and pull that up, go to the other side, right where the X meets, and pull that up. So you end up getting something like this here. You can see that. Okay. So now what I do is I'm going to cross these, trying not to bend my wire too much, but so they go, one wraps around the other. Okay. And I'm going to take my chain nose, and whichever way feels comfortable for you, I'm going to grab a hold of the wire right above where the pendant is meeting. And you're going to see that one wire is already wanting to start working itself around. So I'm just going to bring that wire around. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap down towards my plier. I'm going to get a couple of wraps around. It's about 2.5. I'm going to take my plier out. And then I'm just going to continue by hand. Now you can take your plier and kind of squeeze it as you go around. And I'm just going to keep going. Making sure that the wire, so the wire is snugging up on the pendant, and I want to make sure that it's in the middle. Setting correctly, keep going. And as we get near the end, if you can get around to this side, great. If you don't feel comfortable getting it around there, you can always cut. But I am going to just take my plier and get this guy going around the side. Ooh. And get him tucked into the side. So you can see here that it's in the side of the pendant. Let me zoom in a little more. Okay. Side of the pendant. There we go. Okay. So now that we have that done, if you want to kind of spruce that up a little bit, you can. Not going to be terribly worried about it until we're completely done, but this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to go to my round nose. Instead of leaving too much space here, I'm going to leave just a little bit, give it a bend, just a little bend like that, and then I'm going to bring her over the top, so I normally would spin it, make a wrapped loop, right? And I'm only going to go about twice here before I end up wrapping around my other wire. So I'm just going to cut that off, and I'm just going to snug it in. Oop. Just snug it up there so it looks nice. And then I'm going to pinch this loop so I know that it's straight and how it's supposed to be. And this is what we end up with. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with that. And this is how I'm going to hang my pendant. Now, I did not give my pendant any space to move, as this is going to be on a bracelet. I don't want it, you know, rocking around too much. But now we have this ready to go. So put that to the side. We're going to move on to getting our beading wire ready. So this is, again, soft flex wire. I have just a little smidge on here, enough to make a bracelet. This is the color, what's the color? I think this is just white. Doesn't say. And I'm going to get my crimp bead and my wire guardian. Now, using wire guardians is completely up to you if you want to use them. If you don't, you don't have to. You could just crimp this right on, but it's been a while since I used one, so I thought, why not use one? Okay, so I'm put that through the wire guardian, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put it, the wire guardian, through the loop of my toggle clasp. And then I'm ready for the bead. Go through both tails. Then I gotta get my crimping plier. So I'm going to make sure that these are not twisted, and I'm going to go ahead and crimp with the one closest to me first. Crimp, turn it sideways, and go into the notch furthest away from me, and then I'm going to crimp, and I'm going to roll it. So there is our crimp. Pull test is good. We got that guy ready to rock and roll. Let's see if we can zoom in there. ready to rock. All right, let us zoom out a smidgy. Oh, that's the wrong out. Zoom out a little bit here. And then we're going to get all of our parts and pieces in here. And we are going to start stringing. So, what originally my plan was is that I am going to string up 3 beads. 1, 2, 3. So now at this point is where I would start to tie on my Ceylon cording. However, I think it's going to work out best for us if we first just put on all of the beads and then go with the tying of the little guys afterwards. So I'm just going to string these up. Oop. And then I'm going to add the pendant on the end here on this other side. So I am making sure to add the beads 3 at a time because that's my plan to tie them when I start tying on the Ceylon. It's going to be between every 3. So however this works out mathematically, I want to make sure that I'm able to do that. These beads really are pretty. Originally when I opened this up I was like, Sardonyx, what? Oh, I like this one. Come here, you. Okay. So we're doing pretty good that way. We also want to keep in mind that this is going to be about 2 inches of space, and we want to make a 7-inch bracelet, so we're going to need about 5 inches of beading. Maybe a little more, depending on how much space we leave for the tying on of the little knots. So let me give it a quick measure in the beading. Okay, so we're already over time. We're already over the amount we need here. Yeah, so this is going to be about 2 inches once we get the other side on. So we actually, I'm going to back this up to the red bead. So now let me see, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, so we should be good to go there. So I'm just going to put these to the side for right now. And if I bring this around, I just want to kind of double check it. Oh. So I got about 6 3/4. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put on the pendant. Just going to thread it through, and I'm going to add 1 more bead to the end. Okay. So now, before I start tying anything up or doing anything, I'm just gonna make sure this is pretty tight. And this is what we have so far. So the idea here is I could actually finish it and then tie on the thread, but I want to make sure, since I'm going to be tying multiple threads, that I am going to have enough space. I don't want to finish it and then I don't have enough space for the threads and everything to go in between all the beads. So we're just going to tie it now so that we can still address any issues on the end without it being finished. So what am I talking about tying threads? I'm going to turn it this way so we can just see this top area. And I am going to count 1, 2, 3. And at the end of the 3rd bead, which is right here, I am going to tie on this little piece of string. I'm going to tie one, flip it over, and I'm going to tie two. I'm going to give this one a double knot. So I'm going to go through one, and I'm going to go through two, and I'm tie. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this end and I'm going to put on a crystal. Okay. Now it's kind of up to you how many crystals you want to put on. Let's see how many we got. I just grabbed some out of the bag, so we should have enough. So I'm going to put 2 on this side. Okay. And then I'm going to take my tweezer. And I just happen to be right-handed, so I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to do like the overhand knot, or the surgeon's knot that we have been doing when we've been doing our knotting. So you go around twice, you're going to go through the loop, grab a hold right here wherever you want the knot. Now your knot doesn't have to be super tight up next to it, but depends on where you want it to hang, because once we get gravity involved, we're going to then pull this knot down. Once we get gravity involved, you know, these are going to hang off. So on this side, I think I'll only put 1 crystal. And that other side had a little needle on it still. So this one, I gotta give it a little cut here. Okay, get this through there. Well, maybe it's got a little funny thing on it. There we go. Okay, and then I have 1 on this side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tie a knot, and I'm going to go wrap the tail around 1 and 2. Okay, bring my tweezer in through the loop, go down to the bead wherever I want the bead to hang, pull the tweezer out, and then push the knot down towards the bead. Okay? Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and I'm going to just trim this. I'm going to want to use my cutter probably. This is not my right cutter either. Okay? And so you're going to get a little bit of the string showing through. And we're going to move on to the next one. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do the same thing. So 1, flip it over. Okay. Alright guys, here's what we have so far. I've started another strand because, as I said, we're going to go in with 2 strands. So I've started actually a brown color just because I thought it would be fun. So I did find out a little trick about getting these guys on the side that doesn't have the needle. And when I say needle, I mean the side that I've put super glue on to make it stiff. So I did do this side. So here's what I found out. I'm going to back this up just a little bit so it has room to move around so I can get my strings in here. I'm going to first put on 2 beads onto the string with the needle side, or how many ever beads you're putting on, and bring those down to the end that's loose, and I'm just going to tie a little knot right here so they don't fall off. Okay, and then, so I have this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right next to this one that I already have going, so we'll have the two colors. And I'm going to do what I have been doing, and that's just tie a knot, an overhand knot right here. Okay, you don't have to worry about how much slack you're going to have on this side. It's not a problem. Flip it over and tie a knot here going through 1, 2, and tie that. Okay, so now what we can do is we can just slide these down to where we want them and use this little guy to tie another knot with the tweezer. That makes it significantly easier than trying to get them onto the side that does not have the needle. So then with this side, you will just do as you always have. Just put the one on this side. Tie your knot. Like I said, they don't have to be super tight down there, but if you want them tight, that's how we're going to get that. And then I suggest having a nice cutter, because I found when I'm cutting and I don't have a very nice cut on the end, that's not helpful to me. So then they're going to look kind of crisscrossy like that and look super cute, like little bundles. So I'm going to do that again throughout. Some I might not put as many beads, some I'll put no beads, some I'll put some beads, and then I will come back when we are ready. Alright guys, here we are at the end after I have been putting 2 different colors in. And you guys, I don't normally do this, but I just couldn't help myself. So if you look, before we finish it up, all these little things, right? So cute, which you could just leave it like that. But I was just like, you know what this reminds me of? Kind of reminds me, like, it's a little ocean sunset-y. So I got out this little jar of charms. I don't usually do this, but look, I found this one little star, a little starfish, and I really like it. So I'm going to add it on there. I'm going to put him right, it's just a little starfish charm. I'm going to put him right before my pendant. So he's kind of in a cluster. And then this bead. And I just think it's too cute. It's just too cute to pass up. Look how cute he looks on there. It's just too cute to pass up. So anyways, that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to finish it off by adding a crimp bead, and then I always want to call them horseshoes, a wire guardian, go back through there, and then before we finish we got to come around here to the clasp and put that guy in there. Looking good. And I'm going to run this one little crimp bead up both of the wires. And I like to go through another bead as well. So I did go through this bead here on the way back. So, I'm gonna get my crimping plier. Where'd that go? There he is. So before I get to crimping and all that good business, I am going to make sure everything is got enough room to move around. I want to give it a little bit of space, especially since I got all these little guys in there. But I don't want to give too much where it looks like it's skipping, you know. And I really shouldn't have to because I think we're pretty good. So I'm just going to come in here and crimp and spin, crimp some more. Still checking that. Yeah, looks good. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this without cutting anything else. Ugh, I gotta throw these away. Ugh, they're going right now. Done! They're done. Snazzy. Alright, guys, so I can't, that's not just the cutest thing. Okay. Let's see how big it is, shall we? So I got 7 3/4 inch, which is too big. That's not what I was going for. 7 3/4 inches. Why is that a thing? I don't know if that's really real. Is that because I backed it up when I was putting on these little guys and did not account for them? Probably. Let me zoom out. That is the wrong way. I don't know why this camera keeps doing that. It's probably operator error. But now we know. Now we know that that's too big for me, but it might not be too big for somebody else. I do think it's very cute. It's very lovely. Yeah. 8 inches actually. Let me see. 8 inches just seems like a little bit much, doesn't it? So what about this? I mean, it's possible. Then you get 6 3/4, but that's not what we want. Alrighty, you guys, so 7 3/4 inches. I guess if we would like to run back more on that, it doesn't look that big. I don't know about that. But you would take off probably 3/4 of an inch. So you probably take off a couple of beads here. And those actually probably got added in when I was doing these little things because I had to account for space for them, which I guess I didn't think it was going to be that much space. But here we are. So either which way you cut it, I think it's very cute. I like it very much. And I'll get you guys some photos. I know it's kind of hard to see right here. But I'll get you guys some photos, and it's a cute design either way. I'm sure someone will enjoy it. I hope you're all having a wonderful, spectacular, amazing beading day. If you are, please make sure to show me what's on your mat by going into the Facebook group and going over there and showing us what's going on with you. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.